You touched on a little bit kind of this, hotel companies don't get the product piece quite right. They still think in, you know, am I selling 25 square meters or 16 or whatever it is. And I touched on it in the intro as well, this shift from, you know, people seeking a product experience to, you know, a memorable experience that is more lifestyle driven. How would you advise brands that are looking to make that transition in the hotel space to actually be able to achieve that? Because, you know, a lot of brands out there have traded on brand promise around security, around location, around size of the room, that you'll have a distinctly mediocre restaurant in the lobby, all of that. How do you move a brand like that into I guess, the next set of decades?
Well, first, I think hotels are very good at product, but I think they're very good at focusing only on product. That being said, let's take Peugeot, for instance, as an example, right? A car brand. If you close all the factory of Peugeot and you fire all the staff of Peugeot, does Peugeot still exist or not? Peugeot still exists, right? You can restart it. If you transfer that notion to hotels, how many hotel brands still exist when you close down all the hotels? Four Seasons still exists. We know what it stands for. Does Marriott still exist? Maybe it's big, right? So to come back to your question, when you want to really create a brand, you need to think, what do I stand for, even if I don't sell rooms, right? What is the idea behind why am I relevant? If I was a media brand, what would I have to say? So you start by this core idea, and then you do the operations. And suddenly everything becomes much more coherent. Otherwise, you just keep on changing the color of the lobby, and one day it's pink, the day after it's yellow, and one day it's Norwegian design, the week after it's Parisian design, and after 5 years, you're out, and nobody speaks about you. So I think it's a shift of mindset to be able to do properly a brand. I don't know if that answered the question, actually, but...
Well, yeah, I guess that you know, a number of brands have been around for decades, yeah. And I think the industry is changing. It's changing at a faster pace. Can you take a brand that is a more traditional brand and repurpose it for, you know, where we expect millennials to go? And we'll touch on millennials in a little bit, but just or you know, are there brands out there that are going to slowly die out because they're no longer fit for purpose?
You can, but it's difficult, obviously, because. Take Accor, for instance. I think Accor is a very good example. It's a very, very strong brand. Everybody knows Accor and Ibis. But Ibis sounds a bit, especially if you are French, you know, it's Ibis, you know. You don't want to go to Ibis. You want to go to, let's say, Meininger, for instance, right? It sounds much cooler, right? He didn't tell me to do that. And so if you were to change now Ibis, I think it's very, very difficult. Why? Because the brand is not in the product itself. The brand is in the head of the people. What image do you have of Ibis? And I think, for instance, Club Med has done a very good job over the past, let's say, 15, 20 years, moving from this, let's say, old-fashioned family and friends middle class into something quite premium. Audi has done the same from the 80s, becoming one of the top 3 German car makers. So it's possible, but you need time so that people perception changes.